Welcome everyone to our preview of the 2017 Real Salt Lake season. Thank you, the MLS Show. This is the second year now we will have done this. You've made a very poor choice, but we'll try not to let you down. Again, my name's Eric. We are the hosts of the Royal Blue FC podcast. Again, my name's Eric.
I'm Devin.
And I'm Carson.
Awesome. You can follow us at Royal Blue FC. Also, yes,
Royal
at
Blue.
Royal Blue FC Pod. We even practiced that. Okay. Or you can follow Devin's Instagram for some great photos of nothing. You don't post anything on Instagram.
No.
Okay. We won't tell you where to follow. Just don't. Yeah, okay.
Just don't.
If you find Devin, you'll know. Okay.
You know why.
Anyways, thank you. Again, the season, we're a week and a half away. Are we excited? Carson?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
We probably shouldn't be doing a pod if we're not excited, right?
Fair.
Seems fair.
Fair point. No, we're excited. A lot of fun things to look forward to for Real Salt Lake this year. Lots of changes, but we're excited about what's coming, I think, right?
Yeah.
We hope.
What
we
else
can at least say that we're going to win multiple games this year.
Multiple means
Meaning
at least two.
two.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't be any worse than Chivas 3-4 years ago.
I mean, we could.
Because we could just fold.
Things are looking good. Let's start with who we lost.
Mm-hmm.
The most noticeable departure would be Javi. Salt Lake is my team.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay. So we can just touch quickly on that. People said it was handled poorly on both ends because Javier was moved out and said they wouldn't re-sign him because he's old. I assume that's exactly how the conversation went.
Yeah.
Hey, Javi, bro, you're old.
You're old.
And he went, but Salt Lake is my team.
Salt Lake is my team.
And they were like, yeah, Javi, we know.
We know.
But
bro.
Salt Lake is my team. We also lost a chance on signing his son for our academy, which might be an even bigger blow.
That's probably the biggest blow.
Which
Because
is the truth.
his son is probably going to be the next Landon Donovan. That's not a head case.
Yeah, we did
I
just
didn't
take
know
a
what
shot
to
at
say.
Landon Donovan.
No, I love Landon. But
Well, we
can
did take
all-
a little bit of a shot
a little
because
He
you know,
didn't sign with us, so...
at the end of the day, he decided he didn't want to play for us. So
I'm
screw
not
you,
going to play
Landon.
soccer. I'm going to do Fox Sports stuff. That's how he said it. I heard he made a press conference.
Made
That's
a
what he
press
said.
conference, yeah.
Yeah, so Landon Donovan let us on for a couple of weeks. At least that allowed us to get over losing Javi because he's a pretty beloved character in these parts.
Yeah.
To
Especially
be
for the
honest,
club.
I mean, the reality is, though, like, nobody wanted him to start, right? Every game.
No,
Play,
the end of last year, yeah, no, for sure. Jordan
it could
Allen.
have been handled better, but the
Right.
reality is he either needed to move on or accept, like, you're probably coming off the bench, like, every 3 games.
Right.
And I think you always want to see like the fairy tale ending for a player that's given so much to the club, but in all reality, it just doesn't happen that often. You know, you look at like even like going back into different sports, like Joe Montana played 2 years for the Chiefs. You know
Karl
what I
Malone
mean?
played his last year for the Lakers.
Exactly. So it's painful, but like Devin said, it probably could have been handled a little bit better by the club.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Javi's gone. We're thankful for his 10 years here and excited to see what our new number 11 does.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But great foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a fortune teller.
Okay, so now next, another notable departure is our man, John Manny Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. El Burrito, Juan Manuel Martinez. His dog
I feel so bad.
was having some sicknesses.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he needed to be there for him.
Yes. Do we need to say,
No.
are we
No.
sad? So I'll be honest. Beginning of last year, blew my mind. He played
yeah,
great.
blew everybody's
And then
mind.
guess what? He sucked.
Yeah.
Like, it was piss
just
poor.
like it's just like he all of a sudden looked like he didn't care anymore. Put in a half effort, like, yeah, I'll run out here, you know, put the shorts on. I assume that was his thought process.
He's like, maybe I won't wear shorts. Maybe I'll just wear the jersey.
Hey, Jeff, I decide no shorts today.
No shorts. Have you said no shorts?
He probably got the idea after Luke pantsed him the one time.
No, right.
Anyway.
So going back for real
Right.
with Burrito, though. I mean, when he came here, he was all the buzz. We were so excited. The technical abilities that he had. I think that we all thought that he'd be here for a really long time, but it was as quick as the flame lit, it went out.
But you warned us. Carson actually told us, if you listen to our podcast, which we assume that's none of you, Carson warned us in one of our podcasts. He said, I have some friends that have followed him when he played for Boca Juniors, and they said sometimes he'll just disappear. He'll go on flashes. He'll go on little spurts where he'll be brilliant for a few games, and then he'll just disappear. And that's really what happened. So I don't think, sometimes we can look at historically how has this player performed in leagues before, even if they're not exactly like MLS. What have they done? Have they disappeared? What are their tendencies? And that's going to come true. And that's exactly what happened. So I don't know.
So 2 big departures, two DPs that ended up leaving the club together. 2 Argentine DPs. 2
dirty players.
2 dirty players. But
DPs.
they obviously had some issues with Cassar too on their way out, which I think you saw in the last game. No handshakes from either of them to him. So I think that may have been the beginning of the end.
Which I think is I don't know. Who knows? Who knows who really runs the club? I actually think it's probably Larry H. Miller from the grave.
We can only hope that it's Larry H. Miller from the grave.
Okay. Other noticeable departures.
Would be the word.
Departures.
Okay, he teaches children.
Gomez, no Gomez, always Polmez, always the worst as Garcia.
Yeah, gone.
I love him, and I'll be honest. He's best friends with Plata.
Best friend.
And I was actually... I'll be honest. I was willing to sign him just so Plata would be happy.
Oh, Plata's happy, right?
So listen. Hear me out. Who are the people that were his best friends on Instagram? Javier Morales, John Manny Martinez, and especially Olmez Garcia.
Yeah, for sure.
And guess who he's got now? Luke, the wannabe Latino. Who's
Luke
from
Holland.
Liverpool, England.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Right. So the former player X, right? I don't know if anyone remembers that, if either of you guys remember that, but there was a long time when we were getting ready to sign this striker, and they wouldn't tell us the name of the striker, and it ended up being Olmez Garcia.
Right.
He was striker X for the first couple weeks before we found out his name. And he signed a 5-year deal. I think we had a lot of high hopes for him as well, but never really panned out.
No, and you could see flashes of I think just the raw speed that the kid had, and he's athletic. He was able to make a lot of quick runs and breakaways. He just couldn't finish, in the end.
What is, what you want your striker to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Goals.
So about that.
Goals. Okay. Yeah.
But it's
true.
okay. I think
That's
he went
okay.
to what, San
Oh,
Jose?
and he's in San Jose now.
So
good for him.
Continue to not score goals.
So he'll
there.
be, and San Jose fans get ready for a whole lot of running.
Dude, what if
and a whole lot of shanks.
What if Wondolowski takes him under his wing, and he does great?
Not gonna happen.
Okay.
Moving forward.
Moving our next out, big man Jamison Red Card Olave.
Yep.
Any regrets?
For stint number 2, no. Nope.
Other than chanting, Olave says no.
We didn't even do that.
I did.
His second stint with us.
Okay, not a second stint.
Yeah.
Devin was the only guy in the crowd that did that.
We're all sad about this one, and by we're all sad, I mean I'm sure the young ladies that go to the Real Salt Lake games are sad. John Sturzer.
He's gone.
Handsome man, great hair.
Great face.
Maybe not a great player.
Soccer player?
Yeah.
He's better than us. Granted.
He's better than I am.
Granted. But
not hard to do.
He's replaceable. And that's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
Replaceable.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's all
Good
he
luck.
gets.
Signed by NYCFC. Yeah. Good luck to him.
Well, because obviously, Mix isn't playing there, so somebody with long hair has to.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Welshman.
Well, and Welshman might be back. I just remember this. He is training with the team right now.
I bet he'll probably stick around with the Monarchs.
So
he just wasn't. His contract was. So he might not be out. He just.
So 3 guys that most people that don't follow the club won't even know: Emery Welshman, Boyd Okwanu, former U20 player for the U.S., and Fanny Kavita, who's just a local kid that didn't have his option picked up. But the last one that was pretty sad was Jeff Attanella that we lost.
So I'll be honest, there were some people who weren't that sad about it that I was listening to, and they were just kind of like, he was this goalie, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, he worked friggin' hard. He accepted his place on the club, which is awesome. And there's not a lot of people that can be like Jeff, a potential starter for any other MLS club that's just okay with coming off the bench and fulfilling a role. And I think he did that really well. And again, he worked his tail off. And there were some times I think his reflexes were better than Ramondos. I didn't say that.
No, but he
But I
forced
said-
himself onto the field with Nick Ramondo as your number one. And I think that speaks a lot about him. So I'm sure that he's going to see a lot of playing time for Portland.
Oh yeah.
You know, which is sad for us, but hey, it is what it is.
Listen, it is what it is.
Be what it
Now,
be.
let's talk about incoming players. Starting with someone that's not a player. Mike Pedke, our Real Monarchs, which is our, obviously, USL team, signed Mike Pedke as head coach, who was formerly the Red Bulls head coach, New York Red Bulls head coach, took them to a successful season, and then was let go.
Supporter Shield.
Yes,
Supporter Shield
was let
the
go
first one.
because of weird stuff. We signed him. We'll get into why we signed him maybe a little bit later. Now let's talk about the big man.
Or
And
the
by
little
big
man.
I mean he's not very
fairly
big.
small.
But replacing Javier Morales comes in Mr. Rusnak.
Albert Rusnak.
I watched some highlights, and he looks like a soccer player.
He plays soccer.
He does play the sport.
That's
of
great
soccer.
news
Can we
for
say
us.
this, though? We lost John Sturzer. Good-looking man. Albert Rusnak,
Maybe better.
great
He's a
face,
handsome man.
even better hair.
Maybe a better first touch?
Yeah.
No,
Did you say no?
I said yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I mean,
I just didn't know.
this is the hard thing. The hard thing is sometimes you can go to games and you can watch players and you can see like, hey, you can tell just the eye test. You can tell this guy's
Intelligent on the
doesn't have
ball.
intelligent on the ball. He is. Gosh, there's a word and I can't think of it, but he does that word that I can't think of.
He's
Contributes. He
dynamic.
contributes.
Okay.
Contributes to the team, what's going on in the field. He's able to pull defenders in, allow some space for other players. He may not be, a high, an 18-goal season man or even a 10-goal season man. We hope so, fingers crossed. But he may be able to create plays, open up space for others. And it's something that, I'll be honest, from what I've seen, he probably would have been much better than Javier Morales last year
for sure.
us. Which maybe would have won us one or two more games, which could have made a big difference.
Oh, it would have made a
So
big difference.
I guess we'll see. Do we know anything else about him? We have high hopes, though.
High hopes for him. I think the coaching staff and the scouts have really high hopes for him because they were very excited that we got our hands on this guy. So
I think it'll prove to be one of the better moves in the offseason, not just for us, but just across MLS in general.
Wow.
bold.
Very bold.
Bold and beautiful.
Only a man with a beard could make a statement that bold.
A Sebastian Giovinco type of impact player.
Hey,
let's
he
not-
said it,
let's
not
get
you.
crazy.
JK. I saw you, Sebastian. Now, next, another great signing, which
Just
isn't really...
And on
So he's
loan.
coming back.
Yeah,
He came from our development, went over to Liverpool to play some ball.
with the wrong team in Liverpool, but we'll forgive.
That's okay. Well, yeah, we do forgive. Mr. Brooks. Lennon.
The best soccer name in the history of the world.
Why would you say that?
Brooks Lennon? I mean, think about it.
And
It's just a great name.
John Brooks.
John
Lennon
yeah.
from Liverpool.
I'll bet you his son's going to be named John.
That'd be great. Anyway, he looks great. He's young. He actually played with Bofo and Glad in the academy
Yeah.
where they tore it up. They also, I'm pretty sure, played together on a bunch of under somewhat age teams for the U.S. I'm excited to see them together again. There's a guy, I'm sure you guys will know his name. He works for Top Drawer Soccer. He's hilarious on Twitter. I'm sorry I forget your name. Anyway, he was saying his favorite signing of the whole offseason was Real Salt Lake bringing back Bofo and getting Brooks Lennon because he focuses on academy kids, high school kids, and he's like, these kids tore it up. And I feel really bad I don't remember his name. This is an amateur YouTube video.
Amateur hour over here.
Forgive me.
yeah.
I know not what I do most of the time. But anyways, I think we're excited. I think, and what we saw from him a couple days ago. Will you tell us what happened, Carson? Against Haiti.
1, 2, 3 goals. Hat-tricking.
Hat-tricking.
I don't even know what that means.
Hat trick.
Oh, hat trick, Rick. Yeah,
So
I got
Brooks
that.
Lennon had a hat trick for the U20s a couple days ago. An ode of things to come. Well, I
He
think
hit.
so, right?
He also hit them folks.
he did hit them folks
I
on
have
the
no idea.
celebration.
Yeah.
Brooks, we see you, boy.
Yeah, that was great. I hope he hits more of them folks when he comes to Rio Tinto.
Hit all them
I don't
folks.
even know.
Okay, that's okay.
Devin's old.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll move on from that. So we're excited about him. We'll talk about him a little bit more further along. Chad Barrett.
Yeah, okay, next.
It's fine. Okay.
It's good, right? It's better
Horst.
than Devin Sandoval
Mr.
coming
Horst?
off the bench.
Okay, on to the next one.
Luis Silva? Yeah.
Yeah.
He
That's
was
good.
injured a lot in his little stint that he had with us before, but you could tell that he was dynamic, and he could potentially also, I was thinking back then, he was going to be the player that fulfilled the Javi role.
Right.
He ended up going to Mexico and doing nothing. So now we've got him back.
Right, so this is the Luis
Hopefully
Silva,
do more than
formerly
nothing.
of, for you MLS fans, formerly of DC United. Came to us in the trade with Alvaro Saborillo, who has
Because
since retired because
he got
was
drunk on a
he
plane.
was drunk. Anyways, Luis
Allegedly.
Silva came to us via that trade, went to Tigres in Mexico, didn't work out, and now he's back. I think he's going to make a bigger impact than I think is being made.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely an upgrade from Sturzer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If we're looking at who we lost
Just
and who we
like
brought
for
in.
like is
Right.
is a big time
Right.
upgrade, which brings us to the next player that comes in,
Bofo
from Mexico.
Salcedo,
Bofo Salcedo.
who also took a little bit of a loan trip to Mexico, which his actually worked. He got some playing time. He got some
He
experience.
played well, scored a couple goals.
Right, and
Yeah.
and actually, I heard an interview with him. He's like, you know what? I got to see. I was more on my own and able to focus on working out and doing this and doing that, and I think it really helped him grow up. And now coming back to Real Salt Lake, I think he's going to play a huge role.
He'll
for
be
us.
a backup on the wing to João Plata and Jordan Allen,
right, and a backup to Nick Romando.
and the backup to Nick Romando because
Yeah.
they're both real short.
Correct.
Yeah,
Right.
We're joking. We're JKing.
JK.
Bofo Salcedo doesn't play keeper.
Jose Hernandez.
So another
He's
pickup
another
that most
small
MLS fans
guy.
won't know, but he's another academy product, right, from
Mhm.
UCLA. Did some really good things in college soccer, so watch out for Jose Hernandez. Hopefully, he turns out and
To be the
it'll be
next
interesting
Jordan
to
Morris.
see how much he plays. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He might get. I think he might get a lot of time for the Monarchs and sub in every now and then when
Mhm.
everyone else has gone on
Never knows.
international duties.
Yeah, I mean he's played well in preseason. Kind of watching, we have something with short people, and that's fine. I'm a short person,
Mm.
but he's a teeny tiny man, pretty much like everybody else we brought in.
He is very small.
But it works, right? I mean, Plata's 5'2",
Yeah.
so it's fine.
Two more that we gained. We got a goalkeeper to replace Jeff Antonella, Mr. Van Okel.
We know
Who
nothing
knows?
about him.
Who knows?
He
Hopefully
came
that's
from,
good.
What? Somewhere up in
Edmonton?
Canada? Edmonton, right? He was like
Edmonton
the keeper of
FC.
the year for
Okay.
NASL.
So
31-ish.
yeah, I guess. But is he gonna?
Has
The
sweat
question
on
is,
his face.
he'll be competing for that second spot because I've heard a lot about Lalo Fernandez and the club's actually pretty excited about him and how
Mhm.
he's looked. So.
Interesting.
So we'll see who
TBD, bro. TBD.
who is that backup
TBD.
keeper week 1 against Toronto.
Yeah.
We'll have to see next week. Tune in. Rat Tail Velasquez. If any of you know about Real Salt Lake losing to Kansas City in PKs, will remember that Rat Tail Velasquez kicked the ball straight to the goalie. I forgive him because I love his rat tail, and I'm glad he's back. He actually signed with the Monarchs, correct?
Yep.
He's now with Real Salt Lake, but
Yep.
we're assuming that if he plays well, he can move his way up.
Yeah.
He was a good player. Like, I really actually didn't mind him. And again, probably an upgrade from John Sturzer.
He probably
So-
is, and he's a really nice guy. He's been through a lot in his life. Had some challenges with alcoholism. Opened up about that, which was pretty cool. But I think it'll be interesting to see if he can come back and get back into the MLS
Right.
side.
Mhm.
But
Right.
I think for all those out there, the two biggest signings, obviously Rusnak and Lennon,
Mm-hmm.
And
are
we
one of the two big ones.
and we'll talk about them a little bit more in depth, not to take too long, but we think those are going to be the biggest impacts. Transition year. This is probably another transition year, and we're probably going to win MLS Cup
That's the only thing that makes
in a
sense.
transition year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because those expectations are real,
Correct.
and if we don't, then we'll be outraged at the end of the season, and
Kassar out.
we'll
Kassar.
call for Kassar's head, which we already have his replacement.
Which
right?
comes to, I think this is intriguing. At what point, I don't want Kassar to get fired. I want him to have a great year. I want us to win every single game in every single competition ever this
Clean
year
sheets.
with Kassar, and I want him to be successful. But let's talk. What would have to happen in order for Cassar to get fired? I'm talking about at what point do they make the decision and look at him and say, hey, guess what?
You're gone.
You're gone.
Let's be honest. So, right, they gave him a new contract. It's a 3-year contract. After year 1, like year 2, year 3 are up to the club. That, to me, is already a vote of, like, we have no confidence in you, but we don't really have anybody to replace you with.
Until we signed
Until we
Mike
got
Petke
Mike Petke.
as our Real Monarchs head coach, which would fit easily right into that position.
So
that Jeff
it's
Cassar
obvious. It's obvious we have a contingency plan in place if things were to go sour in the season. But the way that we work and the way that our club has always been historically, I have a hard time thinking that we'll let him go mid-year.
Mhm.
But we would have to lose a string of games a la last year,
Yeah.
where we lost 5 or 6 in
the
a row.
last 10 games of the season were rough.
We could not win, and I think if that is to repeat itself this year,
Right from the
I
get-go.
think for sure he's gone. But I have a lot of hope for this team this year, which is weird because we do feel like, and the club obviously is talking about this being a transition year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're in the middle of this youth movement right now. We're really the only 2 guys we have left. Well, I guess 3, Ramondo, Beckerman, and Wingert,
Mhm.
right from the original team that won MLS
Beltran?
Cup.
No. Yes.
Beltran, I think, that was his first year starting, and then
Yeah.
we had young Yura, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you're seeing the new core of guys coming in right now. But the club has done such a good job that it should be a pretty seamless transition. We should still win a lot of games,
Yeah.
albeit it will be a transition year because there's a lot of new faces,
Right.
a lot of young
Yeah.
faces on the field.
Right.
For us.
A lot of people learning how to play with each other.
Right, and so hopefully it all works out, and hopefully, like we talked about, hopefully we're successful. Hopefully we make the playoffs. Are you okay? Are you okay? Okay, breathe.
So sorry.
Okay, we're good. We're continuing on. Formations. We may see some change in formations. Right now we've been playing a 4-3-3 for a while. We could see that change.
Yeah.
Is you anticipating a change in the formation?
I am. If any of you follow Matt Doyle on MLSsoccer.com.
Armchair
Armchair
analyst
analyst, yeah.
and political commentator.
Yeah.
No more soccer, all politics.
Yeah, all politics.
That's all. MLS. Yeah, okay. Yeah, MLS politics right now, insane.
Yeah,
Just
it's driving
saying,
me
the
up
water's
the wall.
boiling.
But he's often talked about switching it to, I believe it's like a 4-2-3...
4-2-3-1.
4-2-3-1, I
Right.
think.
Right.
And just kind of dropping some people back. And I really think that might work well for us.
With Sonny
And Kyle.
and Kyle as your 2 holding
Yeah.
midfielders.
Oh,
And then
sorry,
having-
I lied. It's a 4-1-3-2.
Oh. I haven't heard that one.
So essentially, Plata drops back to kind of be that withdrawn striker. And it might work well. Sometimes we got exposed a little bit in the 4-3-3.
Yes.
Just for pace, and people just were kind of out of position a little bit. But I think they'll really play with it. I think we could see a 4-4-2, flat 4-4-2. I think we could see 4-4-2 diamond here and there. I think we could see a 4-2-3-1, a 4-1-3-2. I think they'll play with it with all the new people that we have.
Pieces that we have
Yeah.
for this puzzle. I think a 4-2-3-1 for me actually makes more sense than even the 4-3-3.
Mm-hmm.
Like having Sunday, and Kyle Beckerman as holding midfielders, having your number 10, right there is Rusnak, which I'm guessing that's who it's going to be,
Yeah.
and then having someone on the right wing, not sure yet, on the left wing having Plata, and as the striker up top, Sissi.
Yeah, so you'll
Yeah.
probably see Jordan Allen over on that right side, Bofo Saucedo.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
I
I'm
think you'll
hoping
see
that
Lennon.
it's Lennon,
Yeah.
because
I think you'll see
I'm
him
stoked
switch out a
Malone.
lot there. And those are players that can play a lot of different positions.
Right, Jordan Allen
They
can
can play
play
mid, they can play
right
up top
back.
if they needed to. They could play right back.
Jordan Allen can play right back.
Mm-hmm.
He played everywhere last year except for keeper.
Yeah.
He had a couple minutes at center back. He did.
It's
We
unbelievable.
got down to 9 men and he dropped all the way back.
It's incredible. The man
He's a pretty versatile guy, but I think
which
formation
sometimes
will
is
be-
harmful. Which sometimes I think can be harmful because then maybe they don't get great at one position. I think sometimes not honing in your skill and your talent on one position can then harm you because you become stretched over and not too focused. I don't know. Anyway, that may be
No, I agree
Stretch
100%.
Armstrong.
It will be interesting
Stretch
to see what we do with the formations because we've been so hard and dedicated to the 4-3-3. And I think you're kind of seeing that we're loosening that up a little bit, and maybe we can play with the formation a little bit. But I think week 1, you can expect RSL to come out in a 4-3-3, and you could probably predict all of the starters across the board. You know, having.
I'm a little worried on center backs though.
Well, I think you'll see Glad and Mond in the back to start.
But I love Chris
center
Schuler.
back. Chris Schuler is a really good backup, but again, he's had a really hard time staying healthy. I mean, we were happy that he came back halfway through last year, but he only played how many matches, right?
Yeah.
So if he can hold up, he's a great backup, or even someone that can fill in midweek games as a starter. I think you'll see Beltran and who's our left back?
DeMar
Phillips on the left.
Jamar Blar.
Exactly. And Sonny Kyle in the middle. Rusnak pulling the strings, right? With Yura and Zhao, and then I guess that right winger spot is the only one that we're not 100%
Probably
sure about.
Jordan Allen.
I'm leaning Jordan Allen.
Probably Jordan Allen, but Lennon could definitely be someone off the bench that fills in that role.
Salcedo as well.
Bofo. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Excited about the young guys, but again, realistically, we hope we win 5 games. Realistically. Jordan Allen is playing super well in the preseason. I don't know if we have to touch on that any more than he's creating, he's scoring. Hopefully it's because he's playing in a position where he is allowed some freedom instead of playing right back. That's all we have to say on that. Now, real quick, for those of you, if you're interested in Real Salt Lake, you might have already seen it. If you're not, we encourage you to go watch on Real Salt Lake's YouTube page, Sunny Sunday, Mic'd Up. So they basically put a mic on him in preseason. And this is basically what happens. He runs around and goes, ay, ay, ay.
Bravo.
Ay, bravo, bravo.
And then a smattering of 3 languages, the third which we have not identified yet.
Yes.
Which we don't know if anyone has identified.
Yeah, well, I speak Spanish. I speak English. I don't think he speaks either of those languages great. So I'm actually confused. But I'm glad he's around. Don't get me wrong. Love the man. I actually think he's one of the best acquisitions we've had in the past couple of years.
Oh, for sure.
And probably one of the unsung heroes of Real Salt Lake last year.
Well, one of the biggest reasons we saw our dip last year was because he was out of the lineup. So he's a big part of our squad, and I think as he is healthy, I think we will be just fine.
Right.
I really do.
By the way, Sonny, if you watch this, I'm sorry. Don't kill me. I was just making a joke.
But please give us free tickets. Thank you.
Oh,
and
yes.
Please kill Eric.
Okay. Lennon, hopefully you're great. Rusnak Nanak, hopefully you're great. Anything else we need to run over for the new year?
I don't think so. That's it.
Listen.
If anyone's still listening, God bless you.
If Donald J. can be president, we can win MLS Cup.
Screw it.
It's possible.
We can do anything.
Good night.
Okay. Send us your questions. Follow us. I don't know if anyone's watched to the end, but if you have, at Royal Blue FC Pod, you can follow me personally at Eric Julio Castro. They can give out their personal Twitters if they want. If they don't want to, don't do it. Okay, so don't follow him. I actually think, is your profile picture still an egg?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't tweet. I just use the Rebel FC Pod.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
At Carson City.
Sounds good. And obviously follow at the MLS Show for your MLS news. They're great guys. We're actually really excited that they are still around doing this because this is time-consuming stuff that we do for fun. And to see some guys that are dedicated to covering the whole league is actually pretty cool. And there are times where, like, I mean, we have MLS will put out their own podcast, but it's cool to see people that aren't paid by the league to actually give out opinions about the league and give out their take on different teams.
For sure.
Because, again, I think a lot of times we get the MLS tinted glasses view of what's going on, and it's cool to actually see some real talk.
Absolutely.
Real talk.
As Sunny Sunday would say, bravo.
Bravo. Bravo.
Bravo.
On that note, see you later, alligator.
In a while.
Crocodilian.
Welcome everyone to our preview of the 2017 Real Salt Lake season. Thank you, the MLS Show. This is the second year now we will have done this. You've made a very poor choice, but we'll try not to let you down. Again, my name's Eric. We are the hosts of the Royal Blue FC podcast. Again, my name's Eric.
I'm Devin.
And I'm Carson.
Awesome. You can follow us at Royal Blue FC. Also, yes,
Royal
at
Blue.
Royal Blue FC Pod. We even practiced that. Okay. Or you can follow Devin's Instagram for some great photos of nothing. You don't post
Nothing.
anything on Instagram.
No,
Okay. We won't tell you where to follow. Just don't. Yeah, okay.
just don't.
If you find Devin, you'll know.
You
Okay.
know why.
Anyways, thank you. Again, the season, we're a week and a half away. Are we excited? Carson?
Yes. At least that allowed us to get over losing Javi because he's a pretty beloved character in these parts.
Yeah.
To
Especially
be
for the
honest, I mean,
club.
The reality is, though, like, nobody wanted him to start, right? Every game.
no,
And
the
play,
no, the end of last year, yeah, no, for sure.
I mean,
Jordan
it could
Allen.
have been handled better, but the
Right.
reality is he either needed to move on or accept, like, you're probably coming off the bench, like, every 3 games.
Right.
And I think you always want to see like the fairy tale ending for a player that's given so much to the club, but in all reality, it just doesn't happen that often. You know, you look at
No.
like even like going back into different sports, like Joe Montana played 2 years for the Chiefs. You know
Karl
what I
Malone
mean?
played his last year for the Lakers.
Exactly. So it's painful, but like Devin said, it probably could have been handled a little bit better by the club.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Javi's gone. We're thankful for his 10 years here, and excited to see what our new number 11 does.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But great foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a fortune teller.
Okay, so now next, another notable departure is our man, John Manny Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. El Burrito, Juan Manuel Martinez. His dog
I feel so bad.
was having some sicknesses.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he needed to be there for him.
Yes. Do we need to say,
No.
are we
No.
sad? So I'll be honest. Beginning of last year, blew my mind. He played
yeah,
great.
blew everybody's
And then
mind.
guess what? He sucked.
Yeah.
Like, it was
It
piss
was just
poor.
like it's just like he all of a sudden looked like he didn't care anymore. Put in a half effort, like, yeah, I'll run out here, you know, put the shorts on. I assume that was his thought process.
He's like, maybe I won't wear shorts. Maybe I'll just wear the jersey.
Hey, Jiff, why?
Yes.
We probably shouldn't be doing a pod if we're not excited, right?
Fair.
Fair.
Seems fair.
Fair point. No, we're excited. A lot of fun things to look forward to for Real Salt Lake this year. Lots of changes, but we're excited about what's coming, I think, right?
Yeah.
We hope.
What
we
else
can at least say that we're going to win multiple games this year.
Multiple means
Meaning
at least two.
two.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't be any worse than Chivas 3-4 years ago.
I mean, we could.
Because we could just fold.
Things are looking good.
Things are looking good.
Let's start with who we lost.
Mm-hmm.
The most noticeable departure would be Javi.
Javi.
Salt Lake is my team.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay. So we can just touch quickly on that. People said it was handled poorly on both ends because Javier was moved out and said they wouldn't re-sign him because he's old. I assume that's exactly how the conversation went.
Yeah.
Hey, Javi, bro, you're old.
You're old.
And he went, but Salt Lake is my team.
And
And they were like, yeah, Javi, we know.
We know,
But
bro.
Salt Lake is my team. We also lost a chance on signing his son for our academy, which might be an even bigger blow.
That's probably the biggest blow.
Which is
Because
the truth.
his son is probably going to be the next Landon Donovan. That's not a head case.
Yeah, we did
I
just
didn't
take a
know what
shot
to
at
say.
Landon Donovan.
No, I love Landon. But
Well, we
can
did take
all-
a little bit of a shot
a little.
because,
He
you know,
didn't sign with us, so...
at the end of the day, he decided he didn't want to play for us. So,
I'm
screw
not
you,
going to play
Landon.
soccer. I'm going to do Fox Sports stuff. That's how he said it. I heard he made a press conference.
Made
That's
a
what he
press
said.
conference, yeah.
Yeah, so Landon Donovan let us on for a couple of weeks.